Okay, guys, we're going to continue on chapter 3 of You Are The Placebo. The placebo, anatomy of a thought. If the placebo effect is a function of how a thought can change physiology, we could call it mind over matter, then perhaps we should examine our thoughts and how they interact with our brains and our bodies. Let's begin with our own personal daily thoughts. We are creatures of habit. We think somewhere between 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. And 90% of those thoughts are exactly the same ones we had the day before. We get up on the same side of the bed, go through the same routine in the bathroom, comb our hair in the same way, sit in the same chair as we eat the same breakfast and hold our mug in the same hand, drive the same route to the same job, and do the same things we know how to do so well with the same people who push the same emotional buttons every day. And that's your life. That's who you are. So if you want change, you have to change those. You have to change your thoughts. You have to change your actions, period. It's as simple as that. And then we hurry up and go home so that way we can hurry up and check our emails, so that way we can hurry up and eat dinner, so that way we can hurry up and watch our favorite TV shows, so that way we can hurry up and brush our teeth in the same bedtime routine, so that way we can hurry up and go to bed at the same time, so that way we can hurry up and do it all over again the next day. That is insanity, guys. This is the definition of insanity. We are on the hamster wheel of insanity. If it sounds as though I'm saying what we live a huge part of our lives on autopilot, that's exactly right. Exactly. We're on autopilot. And now we're sitting here 40 years later, however many years later, and we're going, oh my God, everything's fucked. I've accomplished nothing in my life. I feel empty. I feel at a loss. I feel lonely. I'm in pain. I'm confused. All these things. And this is why. You got to examine what you've been doing your whole life, what you've been thinking, what you've been saying, what your actions have been. Thinking the same thoughts leads us to make the same choices. Making the same choices leads to demonstrating the same behaviors. Demonstrating the same behaviors leads us to create the same experiences. Creating the same experiences leads us to produce the same emotions. And those same emotions then drive the same thoughts. Very simple. Extremely simple. And that's why this healing is a radical change. It is recognizing the hamster wheel. You have to recognize the hamster wheel. You have to recognize that the reason your life is so fucked, the reason you're in so much pain, so much emotional chaos, at such a loss, is because you've been giving away your attention. You've been worshiping everything outside of you. You've been giving away your attention. You've been relying on experts to tell you all about yourself. You've been relying on experts to fix all your problems. You've been relying on your government. You've been relying on your parents. You've been relying on your traditions. You've been relying on your culture. You've been relying on your society. And so now that all of those things are failing, you're sitting there and you're going crazy because you don't have the answers. That's why it's so important. That's why we have to take back the control of our minds. We have to take back our attention. We have to take back where we put our time. We have to take back what we focus on. We have to take all that back and focus it on ourselves, because everything outside of us is going crazy right now. As a result of this conscious or unconscious process, your biology stays the same. Neither your brain nor your body changes at all because you're thinking the same thoughts, performing the same actions, and living by the same emotions, even though you may be secretly hoping your life will change. And that's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, I'm going to think positive. I'm going to think that everything's okay. I'm going to just look around me, see it's chaos, but the government's got everything under control. But the Republicans know exactly what to do. But the Democrats are our saviors. But my religion is here to step in and save me. Guys, that's just wishful thinking. That is the wishful thinking of a slave-minded minion. That's exactly what that is. That's someone who can't think for themselves, that has been relying on somebody else to take care of them their whole lives and give them the answers, and they can't think. You're not thinking. You're not processing things through your mind. It's called insanity. It's called stupidity. It's called idiocracy. It's called slavery. It's called being a mindless minion. It's called being a lemming, just following the person in front of you right off the fucking cliff. Let's see, where are we? So even though you're doing the same things, you're thinking the same thoughts, you're behaving in the same patterns, doing the same actions, with the same damn emotions, and you're thinking, oh, everything's going to change. It's like these idiots who were buying lottery tickets, broke as fuck, but every fucking week they buying lottery tickets, thinking they're going to hit the lottery. So you create the same brain activity, which activates the same brain circuits and reproduces the same brain chemistry, which affects your body chemistry in the same way. And that same chemistry signals the same genes in the same ways. And the same gene expression creates the same proteins, the building blocks of cells which keep the body the same. And since the expression of proteins is the expression of life or health, your life and health stay the same. It's very simple. And this comes down to the victim mentality. Oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim of my society. I'm a victim of my environment. I'm a victim of my culture. I'm a victim of the politics. I'm a victim of the government. I'm a victim of my teachers. I'm a victim of my parents. I'm a victim of my abusive friends. I'm a victim of everybody who hates me. I'm a victim. No, you're not a victim. You're a victim if you say you're a victim. If you think you're a victim, you certainly are a victim. But we have the power of what goes in our mouth. And if we're poisoning ourselves and eating toxic processed foods, they're not even foods. They've been sold to us as food. They're not food. If you're eating that toxic, poisonous, chemical shit and then expecting your body to run and not have any issues, you're out of your fucking mind. If you're sitting there listening and taking in all the propaganda from the government, the same government tells you they went to the moon 70 years ago, the same government that is causing wars for generations and generations, causing war, killing poor people all over the world, taking their lands, taking their resources, putting them under rule, taking everything they have. You're listening to the same government who is taxing this country and its citizens at 50% of their income. You're still worshiping the same government that enslaves and literally has the highest prison population in the world by far, and puts people in prison for smoking a plant. It's insanity. You guys are insane. You need to start thinking for yourselves. You need to quit looking at these entities outside of you, these authoritarian figures, as saviors, as having the answers. They have the answers, but they're going to enslave your ass. You got to pay to play, baby. Now take a look at your life for a moment. What does this mean for you? If you're thinking the same thoughts as yesterday, more than likely you're making the same choices today. Those same choices today are leading to the same behaviors tomorrow. The same habitual behaviors tomorrow are producing the same experiences in your future. The same events in your future reality are creating the same predictable emotions for you all the time. And as a result, you're feeling the same every day. Your yesterday becomes your tomorrow. So in truth, your past is your future. You'll never change because you're not changing. You're living in la la land. You're living in fantasy land. You're living in victimhood. You are disempowering yourself. If you agree with me up to this point, then we could say that the familiar feeling I just described is you, your identity, or your personality. It's your state of being, and it's comfortable, effortless, and automatic, and that's the problem. In order to heal, this healing is the hardest, most uncomfortable thing you'll ever do in your life. If you think you're healing and but you're comfortable and things are great, and you're like, la, 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 I'm just healing, things are great and positive, you're out of your fucking mind. You aren't doing shit. You're on the toxic positivity train. You have found your little niche in society and you're just blowing positive fucking air up your ass. That's all you're doing. You have become comfortable, effortless, and automatic. You are living in autopilot. You are not thinking. You are not processing things through the faculty of your reasoning. You are not using your intelligence. You're not being wise. You are a fool. And you're insane because you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. The definition of insanity. It's the known you who, quite frankly, is living in the past. When you keep this redundant process going on a daily basis because you wake up in the morning and anticipate and remember the feeling of you every day, in time, that known state of being can drive only the same thoughts that will influence you to crave the same automatic cycle of choices, behaviors, and experiences in order to arrive back at the familiar feeling that you think of as you. So everything stays the same about your personality. If this is your personality, then your personality creates your personal reality. It's that simple. And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So the present personality who is reading this page has created the present personal reality called your life. And that also means that if you want to create a new personal reality, a new life, then you have to begin to examine or think about the thoughts you've been thinking and change them. And that's why I'm telling you, you have to bring back your attention, because what you're doing, what we've been doing our whole lives is we've been living on autopilot. We haven't been thinking. We just go, oh, that's just the way it is. That's just the way things are. Oh, well, that's what we got to do. We got to do it because that's how it's done. Oh, when in Rome. Oh, well, go along to get along. No, these are the mindless minion, brain dead zombie, slavery mind think that it's not even thinking. It's just operating on a pre-planned program that's been propagandized and imbued into you since birth to keep you on a hamster wheel of slavery. It's extremely simple. And you have to recognize and accept that. And then you have to make changes. You have to actually start thinking and utilizing the faculty of your mind reasoning. And instead of just going, oh, that's just the way it is, you got to think about it. Well, why is it that? Well, how did it get that way? Well, okay, now how do I not keep on perpetuating it? Oh, I got to act in this way. That is your faculty of reasoning. If you are not doing that and you are just going, oh, just the way it is and going back to your normal self, that is not thinking. You are not using the faculty of your mind. And using the faculty of our minds is what distinguishes us from brutes. It's the only thing that distinguishes us from brutes. You must become conscious of the unconscious behaviors you've been choosing to demonstrate that have led to the same experiences, and then you must make new choices, take new actions, and create new experiences. Extremely simple. But the people are so damn comfortable that they'd rather sit there and be a victim and complain and bitch and moan and gripe and all that bullshit than take any step of action towards changing their thoughts, changing their words, changing their actions, because they're comfortable where they're at. They'd rather turn on their TV, and whenever their friend comes over, their family or whatever, and they just sit there and they moan and bitch and gripe and complain about how bad things are. And they don't do anything to change them. They still put the same poisons in their mouth, still intaking the same poisons all day, every day, probably taking toxic pills that their doctor gives them to stay alive and operate and not feel the pain and dull their senses, probably still listening to the same propaganda through the news and what the government is propagandizing them and setting them up to prepare them for the next natural disaster or war or whatever, probably listening to the same fucking music that distracts them from their reality, probably listening and watching the same entertainment, the same TV shows and movies that mock their enslavement, that mock their abuse, that mock their trauma, that mock their problems. It's a joke, guys. You guys are feeding into a slavery system that mocks you constantly. Your personality is made up of how you think, act, and feel. It is your state of being. Therefore, your same thoughts, actions, and feelings will keep you enslaved to the same past personal reality. However, when you, as a personality, embrace new thoughts, actions, and feelings, you will inevitably create a new personal reality in your future. Duh. You must observe and pay attention to those emotions derived from past experiences that you've memorized and that you live by on a daily basis, and decide if living by those familiar emotions over and over again belongs in your future or is loving to you. And that's what I mean by bringing your attention back. You are not going to be able to fix these things and know these things unless you take your attention away from all of these celebrities, all of these politicians, all of these idiots out there, and put it on yourself. And instead of taking those hours and hours and hours throughout the day where you think you're relaxing and you're enjoying yourself by participating in these things, you need to take that attention and put it on you and fix your shit and see what caused you to get in your problem in the first place. You see, most people try to create a new personal reality as the same old personal reality, and it doesn't work. Never has, never will. You can't put new wine in old wineskins, guys. In order to change your life, you have to literally become someone else. Stay tuned for some sound science to support this process. So if you understand this model, then you should agree with me that your new thoughts should lead to new choices. New choices should lead to new behaviors. New behaviors should lead to new experiences. New experiences should create new emotions, and new emotions and feelings should inspire you to think in new ways. Okay? You understand that? How do you get a new reality? You have new thoughts. New thoughts are going to lead to new choices. New choices are going to lead to new actions and behaviors. New actions and behaviors are going to lead to new experiences. New experiences are going to lead to new feelings, which are going to inspire you to have new thoughts, new choices, new actions, behaviors, new experience, new feelings, which is going to continue to inspire you to have new thoughts. It's a circle, okay? And that's why being ever present, ever aware, ever mindful, continually, 24/7, you are practicing 24/7 on your healing journey to be 24/7 aware and present of every thought, not letting one thought go through your head without examining it to the fullest. Where's this thought coming from? Why am I having it? And is it beneficial to me? Or is it something I need to work on? Is it coming from a program? Is it coming from a habit? Is it coming from an old behavior? Is it coming from something I heard from somewhere else? Is it an old belief? Is it something I want to change? Is this a thought I want to continue to have? Is this something that is detrimental to my health and well-being? These are the things you guys got to start in order to make your changes, or you're not going to change. Nothing's going to change. You're going to go around in a circle. You're going to be on the hamster wheel your whole life. New experience, let's see. This is called evolution. And this is the only form of evolution. Evolution is not fucking men and women coming from monkeys. Men and women coming from tadpoles. That is not evolution, guys. That is the horse shit they've sold you to make you feel like a fucking piece of shit nothing that came from some fucking tadpole on the earth. That's not how it is. The only evolution is the evolution of you changing yourself and processing things, crushing the old soul or the old ego, and allowing your soul to come back out and become and take over and start realizing the you that was innately born. Okay, and your personal reality and your biology, your brain circuitry, your internal chemistry, your genetic expression, and ultimately your health should change as a result of this new personality, this new state of being. And it all seems to start with a thought. So think about it.